Tonight, 300,000 people in West Virginia are being told to stay away from their tap water, not to use it for anything, cooking, bathing, washing, anything at all. A chemical spill in the Elk River may have contaminated the drinking water. A federal investigation has been launched into how this happened.
The water supply for hundreds of thousands became tainted after a chemical spilled into the Elk River in Charleston. The governor ordered a state of emergency.
For safety, we would just ask that everyone please do not use any tap water.
The leak happened just about a mile north of the state's largest water treatment plant. The material, a foaming agent used to clean coal, began leaking from a 48,000-gallon storage tank at Freedom Industries, a chemical manufacturer.
We don't know a lot about the product, and we're still, sampling and looking at concentrations.
Officials were alerted after residents reported a strange odor in the air.
Unbelievable. How dangerous is this chemical if people are exposed to it?
So, Anderson, we know that if you're exposed to this chemical undiluted, it's harmful if swallowed. It's an irritant to your eyes and to your skin. What we don't know is how dangerous it is when it's diluted. And there's no question it's very diluted in this situation. It's gone through the river. It's gone through the water system. There have been a case of a couple of hospitalizations, around 5 people who were nauseous and vomiting, but we're told by health officials that the illnesses were only minor.
And it was on Twitter. I just checked briefly, and there was a proclamation from Governor Tomblin that said, do not use the water in Charleston.
I was live on the air when the governor's first tweet went out, basically announcing that this had happened.
I don't think anyone had any clue what was going on. We just knew that there was a leak at Freedom and that residents weren't supposed to use water at all.
Just looking for more answers, as everybody was, I'm sure, but it was just kind of a panic thing because most people understood that it was going to be a while before this really had any sort of conclusion.
It was clear almost immediately that no one was prepared for something like that to happen. Of course, we found out later, as time went on, in the coming days and weeks, what regulations did or didn't exist, what types of enforcement of the existing regulations were even being enforced. So I think that it became pretty clear pretty quickly that no one in Kanawha County or virtually anywhere in West Virginia was ready for something like that to happen.
What a lot of people maybe wondered at first, is this just a boil water advisory? We get those all the time. And it quickly became clear this was not a boil water advisory. This was something much more serious. So as soon as we got through the next segment, I was with Spencer Adkins, our chief meteorologist, on the air, and he had wrapped up his forecast, and I said, Spencer, we need to let people know we've just received this information from the governor's office. It's a do not use the water order.
Of issues about water, not just in our state, but nationwide, and realizing the precariousness of water quality and the security of water quality. And the more rocks we picked up and looked under, the more we found. And for me, it was really an education in the entire ecosystem of looking at water. What are the political implications? What are the
economic value of water spread across so many different facets of life that it almost gets, pardon the pun, but it gets diluted. Its real value gets diluted because you've got a tourism sector, you've got a quality of life sector. People's willingness to pay for clean water is huge. And then of course you have the drinking water sector, and all of these things draw on the value of water, that the value of water will only go up. And that's true everywhere. So everywhere the value of water will continue to go up as we continue to pollute waterways and as we continue to have increased demand for that water. One of the very unique things about this part of the world, though, is West Virginia is one of very few areas in the region that's expected to get more rainfall in a future climate. So regardless of how pessimistic or optimistic you are about climate change, Nearly every model suggests that areas to our east, along the eastern seaboard and Washington, D.C. corridor, is expected to get less rainfall, and areas to our west as you move into Ohio and the Great Lakes. Many of those areas are expected to get less rainfall than current, and we are expected to get slightly more. It's questionable about what the timing will be and whether that's actually usable rainfall in the sense of capturing that water for use. But nevertheless, we are not expected to get drier.
When it comes to something as essential as water, know what's going into the water. Know how your water's processed. Understand what potential hazards there are along the waterways which feed your particular system. People didn't know. And they couldn't or didn't feel like they could trust those in positions of authority to tell them accurately what those things were.